freestyle rap at all?
Not yet.
Doesn't it appear to be extremely coincidental that you guys arrest people right outside of Governor Newsom's press conference? Is this really just a show of power?
Yeah, that's right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Samson's World. This is Secret Service Sam, and we have a very big Nancy Guthrie update. I have Alana back with me from Knock It Off Book. She has done some extraordinary research. I cannot take any credit for this. I am just the vessel here for her to share with us. So let me bring her right on so we can get right into this. Alana, are you there? Can you hear me?
I'm here. Hi, Samson. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
All right. Thank you.
So let me do this. Let me let you, I have to grab the little printout real quick from my printer. So let me have you tell people just a little bit about what is going on here, and I will be right back in 2 seconds. So give me 1 second. I'm going to grab it, but you can fill in for a minute.
Sure. Do you want to go ahead and run that video? Okay. So I tried to clear up any misinformation that's going around about Savannah Guthrie being related to Kayla Day, this woman who's been inserted into this investigation. Hi.
Hi, never mind.
Welcome
My
back.
friend up did not come out, so I'll let you kind of, lead us out on this. So
Sounds good. And feel free to play the video that I sent.
of course, yeah, I have the video right here. Do you want me to add that to the show right now?
Sure. Yeah. And you can just,
Okay.
pause it along according to each topic. But
Okay.
I did a deep dive into the ancestry for both Savannah and Penny. And
Okay.
it's very likely that there was some brotherly connection back in the late 1600s when the Guthries came over from Scotland. But Savannah's lineage and Penny's split, so there's no direct connection to them here in the U.S. But there is a connection in that Penny Guthrie, which is the next tree. You'll see her tree next.
Okay.
Penny Guthrie married Darren Day, who is either Kayla's uncle or her father. I wasn't able to confirm whether Darren or Daniel was Kayla's father. But either way, that is direct knowledge of the Guthrie name. And with Savannah being so famous, it's still very possible that it could have sparked an opportunistic plan if that is what happened, right?
Interesting.
Another thing I found interesting was that Savannah's father and her grandfather were both miners. And her father actually died during a Mexican expedition, a mining expedition near the Mexico border. And last week, we introduced Kayla's husband, William, who had served 9 years in prison for smuggling illegal immigrants across that Mexican border. So I went a little deeper and I checked out William's father. And I found that he owns 8 mining claims right along the border, south of Tucson, in Arivaca, south of Arivaca, and right along the border there. One of them really struck out at me, and it's because it's reported to be this hot spot for drug smuggling and illegal immigration. And the property, I don't know if you can see it there, but the property is on Chilton Ranch. And the owner, Jim Chilton, he has publicly stated that the border wall stopped during the first Trump administration, stopped right there on his ranch. And he describes all the hardships that this has caused him. In the video that I sent to you, he's saying there's 3,700, illegal immigrants that he's counted, in the past year. And so he has video footage there. And I think it'd be very worthwhile if law enforcement has not already to reach out to Jim Chilton to check out his ranch, since it seems to be a hotspot there. So that is Clyde, who's Savannah's grandfather.
Okay.
And then the next one will show her father, Charles. So then he passed away on a mining expedition.
Gosh.
And then we've seen that Mick is actually William. He's married to Kayla.
Okay.
And the next slide, I believe, shows the mining. Yeah, so here's the mining claims right there on Chilton Ranch. And that's owned by William Huebe, which is, William's father.
Wow. And so are you saying that maybe because of all of these mining, that maybe this is their connection to be able to take her to Mexico, or that they have all this land or something where she could be taken to? Is that what you're
I'm saying it's if they haven't already, which I'm hoping they have, it's definitely something to check out. This is their backyard. This is something they did. They know that area. They know how to get across the border. Sure, there's small little structures on the mining claims and properties that really should be checked out.
Right, because there might be like little mining houses or whatnot where it's very private, and I guess if it's their own land, nobody would even think to come on that land to look for.
Exactly. And I think the next clip is a video.
Okay.
And if we want to roll that is Jim Chilton
This is
himself.
the international boundary, and the Trump wall came out this way all the way to here, and it stopped the day President Biden took office. Kind of like you build a house and you finish it out, except you don't put the doors or windows in, and then you wonder why people come off the street and camp in it. 3,700 people have been picked up on my cameras inside my ranch. They were in camouflage and carpet shoes, so it's dangerous out there.
If we were to come back and visit you in 4 years, do you think that'll all be finished?
There may be lawsuits.
Wow, that's fascinating. So that was so basically Trump's border wall stopped at their property. Is that correct?
Yeah, and it seems that Jim has a direct connection there to Donald Trump. Yeah, so I found that fascinating.
Yeah, because it gives a great motive also for, somebody to, be able to know where to go, plenty of room to hide Nancy, and to be able to get away across the border. And it sounds like you said it's their backyard. This might be something that was very easy for them to plan to allegedly kidnap her and get her right across the border without an issue, and maybe even onto their own land where they're holding her.
Sure, and it definitely adds confidence.
Think Savannah thinks about this at all, or this connection, I'm wondering?
There's no way to understand what Savannah is feeling in this horrific tragedy besides grief and desperation to find her mother. There's no way to speculate that, but I just hope she's getting as much information as she can and checking every stone, turning over, and that the law enforcement's helping her with that. Yeah.
Right. And then you had said that you had been speaking with Kayla's mother. Is this correct?
I'll keep that confidential.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know that was I was just joking then. No, maybe I got that wrong. What is the next? Should I roll to the next video?
Sure. Another thing that I had noticed when I was looking at William's social media pages is that the gloves that we see in the security footage on that Nest camera look so strikingly similar to gloves that tattoo artists wear. So I think I have an image of that. And since Kayla worked as a body piercer in that industry, and William also advertised himself as being a tattoo artist, as well as, I believe, replacing window shields and glass in automobiles. I went down a rabbit hole of some Tucson-based tattoo artists. And there's this, they frequently post these Viking imagery, and they spell words with the Viking ruins and reference this Odinist theology. So a man named Andy White reached out to me on Instagram, and he introduced me to me himself as being part of this international Spies for Peace organization. And he shared his theory that the date, February 1st, that Nancy was kidnapped kind of coincided with this Odinist ritualistic date. And although I don't believe that myself personally, I think they chose February 1st because it was a full moon and they needed a little more light for this operation potentially. But
Okay.
I looked into some of this like Odinist theology in that area, and Tucson is a hotspot. There was even a book, and it's titled Odinism and the Mysteries of the Past. And it talks about these groups in Tucson, Arizona specifically. So, I mean, let's be real. I mean, the head of the FBI, I think I had included a picture of Kash Patel. Even he's proclaimed his objectives related to Valhalla. So nothing would surprise me
Yes.
at this point.
Yes. And also, I mean, what would Cash know? He's probably pretty hungover this morning after partying with the Olympic hockey team. So I'm guessing he's not even really thinking about this at all.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll
And
save that for
so
another.
here's the bright full moon makes night visibility easiest. That makes a lot of sense. Now, what is this here?
Let's just say I'm not accusing anyone of anything, but these
No.
characters and these people have come up in the conversation in relation to this. And
Mhm.
if this were to be a group of people that were conspiring something, they've each complement each other in some way, right? Some is very
Right.
knowledgeable of smuggling, another has a history of burglaries, and has access to guns, another travel and accounting and crypto, and then Kayla has this connection to potentially to the Guthrie name. So I
Yeah,
think
all these pieces fit together of maybe this is like their little crew in a sense.
potentially, I mean, we don't know. No one knows anything. The one thing about Zach I find interesting, he's now claiming he has not lived in the US and he's lives in Jordan since 2019. And I find that interesting because I did find online in that video, you'll see that he posted a local review for a place in
Is
Tucson in
this him
20.
right here?
That's Zach. Yep.
Okay.
Um,
And then
you
you
can
said
keep
he
going
posted
with through
it. Okay.
those. Yeah. He posted a review in 2021.
Mhm.
And he's also part of the executive team for Tucson Dermatology.
Hmm.
And even before he deleted his Instagram, but before he did, I did view his page, and there were very recent videos of him driving in the Tucson area.
Interesting. Yeah, and I wonder
So
why he deleted his Instagram page if he doesn't have anything to hide. That's very sus.
yeah, so I just have a few screenshots of those there. But
Okay.
all in all, these are just theories. We're just trying to figure out, is this possible that these kind of connections, could be related? But
Mhm.
my advice to law enforcement, keep checking these mines, check that ranch. There's also a place that someone told me about called Mystery Castle near Phoenix, which
Oh
is
my
an
God.
abandoned castle that apparently a lot of drug deals go down. I just check.
Interesting. And what is this slide right here? This
Oh, that was just like an AI description of Zach, right?
Okay,
And
okay.
so sure, he's got his connections to the Middle East. That was on Reddit. Someone was messaging with Zach, and
Oh, wow.
those are messages from him,
Okay.
saying, right away that, that the car was sold on the 7th. So whether
So
he's got
he's
that.
he's right, he's trying to distance himself from that, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is Prestige Auto Care LLC.
Yeah, he left a review. The next page shows the review in 2021.
Right, showing that, like you said, if he's been in Jordan, why is he leaving a review
Right.
for this auto body shop or whatever it is?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
And there
And what
could
is
be a
his
connection
review say?
if
Can you see it?
Williams working in like automotive industry, like replacing windshields. Maybe they, met that way. And hopefully we will find out, and hopefully we'll find out from Nancy herself.
Yeah, I mean, because I think it's going on almost 21, 22 days that she's been missing now. I mean, it's just okay. And then this next slide is Tucson Dermatology, like you were saying.
Yeah, the next, as you can see the local address, and the next page, you'll see that he's an executive.
Okay. And then Varsity Auto Glass is this.
That's Williams. Yeah, card.
Okay, Williams card. And then how about this?
That's Mystery Castle. I don't know why it stuck out. Just one of those intuitive, random, let's check everything. I thought I'd throw it out there because there's a lot of
Mystery
amazing
Castle.
volunteers.
That's just such a interesting, curious name as well. Maybe there's a mystery happening in that castle that we don't know about. And then
There's
this
so
is
many
back
volunteers in the area I saw online today that are helping out. So great. If I was closer, I'd be out there helping too.
Yeah, and then did you hear that volunteers were being turned away, that the local police
Oh.
department was telling them to go home, that we don't, that they felt like they were interviewing, or I'm sorry, interfering in the case, which is interesting because you'd think you'd want all the help that you could get in this situation, because the police department, the FBI, I mean, they don't really seem to have any good leads at all.
Well, I think we do have to be careful because if you go down a legal route,
Mhm.
obviously the cops and first responders know how to process evidence. And so I think anyone who is helping is just to
Mhm.
get the tip, just go to the edge, do not touch anything, do not go into anywhere, but just
Right.
maybe just keep your ears and your eyes open to get
Mhm.
that information to law enforcement. But yeah, we sleuths and we volunteers should not be processing, touching, interfering in any way. So I do agree with that.
Obviously. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mhm. No, it's really fascinating. Was there anything else that you would like to add from your research that you've been doing?
That's my update for today. I really just wanted to clarify that connection with Kayla and Savannah because it's something I wasn't
Yeah.
sure about, and now we know.
Yeah,
Right?
and I think
Directly.
the most interesting thing here is all of those mining plots. Where, I mean, to me, I would say go on that land and search every single, like you said, there's old pumps, there's got to be old mining shafts, maybe, some sorts, old houses, like wood cabins that are abandoned. I mean, I remember, I think it was Ted Bundy he would take some of the women to like an abandoned cabin, kind of out in the middle of the woods, or, just, it leads you to believe that there's plenty of land and the motive and the ability and the wherewithal to know where to go right away. It's not like whoever kidnapped Nancy didn't have a plan of where you're going to take her because they know Savannah's famous as a very high profile kidnapping that's taken the attention of the entire country. So I think they knew they had to have a plan of where to go. You couldn't just take her to your home and expect to get away with that.
And if these individuals become suspects, and if they're not already, obviously they had that level of confidence with those areas. I mean, that's their backyard.
Exactly. I think that's the part that makes me most curious, or I would think would make law enforcement most curious, is to get a warrant and check out that land.
Yeah.
And what was this? Oh, this was just the family tree picture. Okay. Yeah, it's really fascinating stuff. And you just did amazing research, Alana. I mean, you're diving deeper, I feel like, than anybody else I've really seen, diving into this, including the authorities. I mean, I saw something with the authorities. They said, we just need to wait and have patience. And I couldn't imagine being Savannah and just hearing somebody say we need to wait and be patient after all these days. I'd be like, I can't wait any longer. I can't imagine that she's slept at all. And we really haven't seen any updates from her. I'm very curious to hear like what Savannah and the family has been up to.
And a lot of my motivation for this is just to clear the misinformation to make sure that the wrong information doesn't continue to get spread around.
Right.
And also too, because my heart just breaks for Savannah Guthrie. I just, it's.
Yeah. And then of course the connection, like we've been saying, to her interviewing Virginia Giuffre and really breaking that open. And then Virginia Giuffre is now gone. And, it expressed that she wasn't suicidal. And, I wonder if Savannah Guthrie would think that at all. Like, God, I wonder, people think, is any of this related to Trump? Is there any, you know what I mean? Because I remember, like we've said, when they asked Trump about it, he was like, yeah, I think, we know some things, but we're not, like he acted like they knew something and it was going to be announced, but then never said anything more about that. So I think that's a little suspicious as well.
And can you trust the FBI if that is the case? Yeah, I think
Right.
that adds another element of frustration and fear for Savannah.
Yeah, because the FBI right now under the leadership of Kash Patel obviously does not seem very serious at all. He seems way more concerned with, popping off tall boys and partying with the American hockey team, which a lot of people were really disappointed in. I was just on TMZ this morning talking about it because we have Savannah Guthrie's. Mexico is blowing up with the cartel. There was an assassin who tried to kill Trump at Mar-a-Lago. And I don't know, when I think of an FBI director, I just think of a guy who's always in a suit, very serious, very well high trained, not a type of person who drinks. I mean, Kash Patel was visibly, it's interesting when you look in the video and he's on the phone and while he's on the phone with the president, you hear him just pop open another tall boy. And to me, that makes me think of, an alcoholic a little bit, because to me, seeing the cameras on and I'm the FBI director, I wouldn't be throwing beers all around. It seems like, congratulations, boys. We're very proud of, just more, just a level of seriousness.
And for the fact that they're shading the women's U.S. hockey
that was
team,
disgusting too. Yeah,
who won the gold.
I guess I'll have to invite them, and they denied the invite. But I think that also speaks just to Trump as just kind of a sexist, that he's still, after all this time, the way he speaks to women reporters, you stupid, you're terrible. It's
it's horrible.
I don't know. He has a real lack of respect for women. And that's it right there. Because, who jokes about that? Like the U.S. women won the gold medal too. And who's like, well, I guess we'll have to invite. Why would that be an issue? You know what I mean?
The other thing too is like Kash Patel, before he was part of the administration, was always talking poorly about people who were like blowing taxpayers' dollars traveling and doing the very things he's doing. Exactly.
There's a video of him circulating where he's talking about the former FBI director, Chris Wray, and just saying, he spends $15,000 a flight. I just think we should ground those flights. And I don't, if he had, and he was the one, the Epstein files. Yeah. There's a little black book and the FBI director is in direct control of that. And the minute, Dan Bongino, same thing. Dan Bongino went back to his podcast because I think they found out the answers they wanted. And they found out that if they wanted to keep their job or maybe even their life, that they had to play along with this cover up. And so I think if Kash Patel hadn't talked such a big game on, FBI directors spending on flights, and then he's going to visit his girlfriend in Nashville, I don't think people would be drawing as much attention to it. But he's the one who brought us our attention to it. And also,
if he wants to go, everyone has a right to go to the Winter Games if they would like. Pay for your flight, share a bit about your experience, and put the spotlight on the athletes who have worked their entire lives to get there, not yourself drinking a beer in the locker room trying to take credit for the work.
Yeah, and somebody made a really good point that who knows how this is going to age, and Kash Patel is in all those pictures, he's in all the videos, like P. Diddy was back in the day and all the artist videos. And somebody made a good point, like, what if Kash Patel is covering up for these Epstein files? What if it ends up that one day he is caught and does go to prison or does, face some, blowback from this, and then he forever is in their memories. And I know a lot of Americans just after that win, of course, it was an amazing overtime victory, but it really stung having Kash Patel there in the room celebrating with them. It let Team USA was a bunch of Trumpers, which, it's okay to a sense, but it's just, for everything they represent right now, it just, we need
a break. We need a break from all the division and the nauseating,
and it was
information that we're getting and the propaganda that we're getting. So we were loving the Olympics for that very reason, because we're like, oh, great, we get to watch our fellow athletes like go shine for us and bring us back up as far as our reputation worldwide. But instead, had to bring it right in.
I know. And then the president, like we said, not, I guess I'll have to invite the women. It's like, doesn't he know at this point to just have a little sense, a little couth to, hey, and we'll have to make sure our hockey, our women's hockey and men's hockey I'd love to have both of you there. Like he thought he was like bonding with the guys. Oh, we got to invite the girls. Like, it was just
Like,
disgusting.
how cool that men's
Right.
and women's both won the gold. I mean, that
Right.
is amazing. But instead, we got you. Sorry, I don't want to get impeached for it, but we got to bring the women. Yeah.
Right. And then one of the hockey players yelled out, "Hey, enclose the northern border." And it's just, and they're a bunch of kids. I don't think they realize the effect and the perception it would have by having Kash Patel there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Time will only
I'd
tell.
love to take the conversation about the border policies and who our administration represent as two separate conversations, because sure, we all want to have safer environments. So let's not bleed that into our respect and admiration for the administration, right?
Yeah.
That's a separate conversation. Let's look at who they are, how they act, how they treat people.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the big lesson out of a lot of this. And Trump, everything goes, they, like I said, it trickles down from him and how he treats everyone. And it's just been really despicable. And Kash Patel has been so despicable every time he goes in front of Congress. The way he talks, it's kind of like Pam Bondi. They don't answer questions. They just have like their burn books where they're ready to, so.
Yeah, they're so irreverent. But, bringing him into this conversation, just him like talking about Valhalla. And there is this trend of kind of right-wing men who are like following this Viking ideology. Who knows? But also the fact that Zach has connections to the UAE and, MLB. And there are some dots, and I don't want to step too close to a fire that I don't know who started, but it's something just to consider.
Yeah, and the whole Valhalla thing where, he says, "Charlie Kirk, rest up now. We'll see you in Valhalla." But then we found out later, after Charlie Kirk's assassination, he would not get off the airplane because he forgot his FBI jacket. And so he ended up having to take it from a female FBI. And then he's like, "There's not the patches. Where are the patches?" And it's kind of like, well, if this guy was such a close friend and you're so upset about this, who cares about the jacket if you have it on? But it just goes to show he's very much about like cosplaying an FBI director instead of actually acting and being.
But he doesn't appear to have been that way prior to being part of the administration. None of them did. I mean, sure, Pam Bondi did, but they have to be that way in order to maintain their position. And just this abrupt change in this entitlement and this irreverence is really nauseating.
Well, you see, like when I think it's like give a man power and show me the man. It really shows you who somebody is when they get power and how they act and how they start treating everybody.
I write a section in my book about that very thing. And I actually use the reference of a surfer. And if you have not trained to understand the power of a wave, when a big wave comes and you happen to land on it, how you ride that wave is going to tell you how you prepared for it. It's the same with power, right? So a person who just got thrown into power, they're going to cling to anything and try to look a certain way and try to survive. Or a person who has worked hard to get to a place, that position, a platform of power in order to ride it properly, to serve other people, to expand projections of thought and inclusivity. Like there's so much. It's just, we're not seeing anyone who prepared for the power.
No, not at all. Well, and as they say, with great power comes great responsibility, Spider-Man. So, well, thank you again, Alana. I really appreciate you coming on and I love all your research, and I'm sure the Guthrie family appreciates you because, just that's what they want, is to keep this thing alive and keep people talking about it so we can eventually, bring Nancy home.
I hope so. I do not want to do anything that would impinge on getting Nancy home. So keep praying. Well, let's all keep searching.
Yeah. The only thing you could do is by not doing what you're doing. And, so you're working towards something. And I think you brought up a lot of very interesting points with their mining their land. And I think authorities should, if they haven't already, be really looking into that, because that sounds like where they could be hiding out with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, thank you so much again. And then when you have some more, just let me know and we'll bring you back on the show.
Sounds good. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, take care. Thank you so much,
Bye.
Alana. Okay, bye. Guys, that was Alana. Make sure you get her book, Knock It Off book. She's an excellent author. And she's really somebody, just a regular person who's attempting to break this case. I'm very excited. I am going to DC tomorrow. I will be at the People's State of the Union with the Midas Touch Network. I got my press pass. I'm very excited about that. Tonight, for LA Magazine, I will also be, they're having a, like the best restaurants of 2026. I'm going to get to eat a lot, and I'll do a review on that. I'm also dropping a review of an excellent restaurant in downtown LA called Engine Company 28. If you've never heard of it, check it out. It is one of the best cheeseburgers I have ever tasted. I will say it's the best cheeseburger in Los Angeles. A lot of people like to say In-N-Out. But yeah, thank you guys again. If you have any questions, just let me know. If you have anything we need to look up, just let me know. But we're praying for the Guthrie family that she comes home safely. Congratulations to all the Olympians, our U.S. men and women's on the gold. That was an amazing overtime win. So even though Cash Patel kind of shat on the parade a little bit, we must respect and at least appreciate all their hard work and sacrifices. Guys, from Los Angeles, California, this is Samson's World, where court, comedy, culture, and your world collide. I'm Secret Service Sam. Secret Service Sam out. Samson for president of the world.
Can you freestyle rap at all?
Not yet.
Doesn't it appear to be extremely coincidental that you guys arrest people right outside of Governor Newsom's press conference? Is this really just a show of power?